Hello, and welcome to another episode of Weekly Spark. I'm kind of loosely pulling some inspiration from Little Red Riding Hood this week. I'm going to be working on this side of the book. I did want to show you this page that I had done, a year or so ago. And I was kind of addressing Little Red Riding Hood, but also the tapping into wildness in a way of, if the wolf represents wildness, then that's something that has often been kind of squelched down in us, that society has kind of tried to put down so that we're good girls, so that we're nice girls, and that denying a part of ourselves is never healthy. So I'm not saying wildness should be, an extreme or to a dangerous place, but I'm saying that we are allowed to seek balance and embrace all aspects of ourselves. And so in that, I wanted to work with Little Red Riding Hood, kind of inviting the wolf, inviting the wildness in, and coming to terms with that, making friends with that. So I want to try and have it be different from this page, but the wolf and the picnic are kind of the key symbols in that for me. And I think actually that's on my list of new tile designs to sculpt in the coming year. So I think I want to play more with that kind of motif and that combination of symbols. To that end, since I am working on just one side, I have two wolves here, but I may use both of them, since I am going for kind of a balance element in the layered meanings of things. But I'll go ahead and tape off the page and start with a collage. I want to get down some paper and maybe some gesso smears and a background that is, not representational, just has some color and texture. Then we'll see where it goes from there. As always, before I get started, I like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. Give this page a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, all those YouTube things, but stay tuned for new art journaling content on Wednesdays for this Weekly Spark series. And as always, I thank you for being here, and I would love to hear your comments. So don't go anywhere. Let's watch this page, inspired by the wolf and a Little Red Riding Hood, unfold. So I've returned to the Brusho crystal watercolors that I used in last week's video with the ElfQuest and the Wolves theme. Had them out on the table, but I really like how they act if they go into wet gesso. So you saw a slightly sped up version of the collage on this page with just, torn text paper and some gesso. You can see the sprinkled crystal watercolors on there, but wait till you see what happens when the water hits them. It makes for a very wet page, and it's things like this that influenced my decision to use a watercolor or a heavy paper mixed media book, because when I sit down to do a page, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to think, oh, well, it's going to be watercolor, so let me get out the watercolor journal. Oh, it's going to be colored pencil, so let me get out. No, when I have one journal, I like to watch the evolution of ideas, and I want to watch the progression of my pages in real time over the course of a month, a year, etc. So I like heavy paper because then it'll take whatever I throw at it. Now, in the wet gesso, here they bloom. Just watch this. They're very different if you put them down into watercolor paper that's been wet. And so right now, while they've bloomed and been activated, I want to kind of mix them up and kind of smear them into the gesso. So I try a hotel room key, I try a brush, I try all different things. You'll see me end up blotting things with a paper towel just to mix it all together and not have any specific texture like the brush marks were giving me. All in all, I think it's a really rich kind of surface. It is a definite mess. And as I mentioned in the last video, the colors aren't permanent once they're dry. So they will reactivate if you put another wet layer on top of them. You know, in my journal, why not? That doesn't really bother me. So it's another day and everything is completely dry. As I mentioned, very wet. So I didn't rush the process. I waited to another day for it to finish. And I wanted to have some kind of figure representing the self, representing Little Red Riding Hood. I liked this one because she was wearing red. I picked this one because the scale was right. She was wearing red. Her position was right so that she was kind of facing the wolf. This was not planned ahead. This was just going through my collage materials. Now, she has kind of some greenery and some background in the image, and that's great, but I don't want to just glue this on the page because then that's a stuck-on layer that really isn't integrated into the colors and textures that I built up in the first part of this video. The wolf is just stuck on the page, but for some reason, the fact that he's cut out and the fact that he's in that background with the Prussian blue and whatnot, to me, it makes him kind of feel like he is already part of the page or emerging up out of it. So I'm okay with just gluing the wolf in place, but the figure I want to integrate and layer in. So I'm thinking of a red kind of flowing field like which to me would be then referencing fabric, referencing the cape, the Little Red Riding Hood cape. So let's see where that goes. The red swoop did get a bit brown. It got neutralized a little bit by some of the colors underneath, and it still has a flow to it. I'm fine with that. But I wanted to add words, and what came into my head, you'll see here, I'm using a Posca pen because it'll write on anything. Follow where my wildness leads. So I feel like I'm referencing Little Red Riding Hood. I feel like I'm referencing the symbolism of the wolf as wildness, and what I talked about at the beginning of the video, in kind of accepting all the parts of yourself and trying to find some kind of balance. So I'm not 100% thrilled with that swoop of red where the text is, but I'm good. I'm good. I like the page overall. I like the stenciling to kind of help blend the image in. I really like the left side with the wolf and all the texture from the crystal watercolors. So I'm going to call it. I'm going to call this page done. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you'll come back next week for another episode of Weekly Spark. And I hope you have time to take it to the page in your own art journal.